So, I just want to start out with some general housekeeping. I am not being paid to do any of this. Now, I've got small children, and why am I doing this? Why do I even need to take the time out every day to spend every spare moment that I've got researching and making videos to educate people? Why am I doing that? Well, because we're under attack again as Indigenous people, as Murrawari people. We're having to defend ourselves once again. Now, this has been going on for so long, generations. And so, I don't have all of the time in the world just to be spending answering people's messages, sending me private messages, asking me to explain the ins and outs of everything. I can't do that. I'm not going to enter into dialogue on the chats underneath all of my videos because I don't have time. You guys argue it out amongst yourselves. I'm just going to release videos when I have the time. Now, if you want to support Indigenous voices, support people who you believe in. Support mob on the ground who are doing work to try and educate the masses. We've got such a complex issue here. It's no simple answers. There's no one dialogue fixes it all. I don't have all the answers. I'm not the most, educated person on all of the laws of both our laws and your laws. Now, there's this huge expectation that mob is supposed to know everything. How many people know the law? How many white collars, to coin a phrase, and I'm sorry if you're not even identify as that, but who knows the Constitution other than constitutional lawyers? And they're bound within the rules of the Constitution. They're not looking at it from a sovereign perspective. They're not even looking at whether the Constitution is even valid if they're looking inside the Constitution. They just know what's in it. They don't know. They don't even question the fact whether it's properly set up or not. And so, it's so complex. Then there's our laws, all of our laws. And there's, every country has their own set of laws, and we can't speak on behalf of every other country. And how are we even supposed to know all of our laws when there's been such a genocidal attempt on all of our ways? My dad, he grew up until he was 21 years of age. In 1967, he was 21. He was an adult by then. He grew up under apartheid. He wasn't allowed to go to school, into high school, just primary school. And then after that, no more schooling, just supposed to be for menial labour. And so, I'm of the first generation since 1967 that were even able to get educated and have access to, society at large. But we've got all the hangovers of all of the past practices that came before us. Just because I was born post 1967 doesn't mean that I didn't have all of the hangovers of growing up with my father, who grew up under these conditions. He grew up under the conditions that then were passed on to us, the next generation, the children. And I've had to break that. I've spent most of my life having to break the cycles just to be a functioning, healthy human being. And now I'm supposed to educate everybody. All these people are asking all the time, tell us what we're supposed to do. We don't know anything. Of course you don't know anything. 97% of the population are being asked on something that they've got no idea about. It's taken me a lifetime of education. I'm still catching up. So support people to get the true voices out there that you believe in. Not the corporate agendas. Why do you think the mining companies and everything are backing the voice? Why are international billionaires backing the voice, the Yes campaign? Because they've got vested interests in our everything, the mineral wealth here, the water, the trees. So support us, support mob on the ground who are doing their education, trying to get things out there, trying to do our best. And what are we trying to do our best for? All of us. The basis of our culture is spiritual, that we're interconnected with all things. We're here to look after the planet and all the creatures on it, including you, so that there's something for the future. It's not for us. It's not for me. What we're doing right now, I coin it future eating. We're consuming all of the resources now for our greed, hunger, our need for power, our need for comfort, our need for security to know where the next thing's going to come from. But all that security is just short term. All that comfort is short term, and it's all just based upon an unrealistic demand. Catching up with the Joneses. Future eaters. So slow down. Nothing's going to get fixed straight away. It's a whole big long conversation. And at least the tide of awareness is shifting to the point where I feel like I can even have this dialogue with the larger community, because, like, there hasn't been an environment where our voices have been able to be heard. There hasn't been an environment where there's been enough interest in Indigenous affairs to be able to give us a go. But it's going to take time. There's so much about our ways that you can only know through spending time with us. So, share, put the messages out there, promote people, repost, because the algorithms don't support voices that don't support the narrative. So please help and share, donate to people who are really doing the good work that you believe in. And I'll keep posting, keep doing it anyway, because what else are we going to do with infinity?